Christina, you good?
Oh, sorry, Christina, you
Oh,
good?
good.
Um,
Oh, okay. No, yeah.
William Johnston,
Here.
Phil Zeri was excused, Lynn Colligan.
Here?
Please, here, Tom Graffinino,
Here.
Stephen Kiley, town attorney,
Here.
is here. We're going to review and approve the January 17th, 2024 minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We have a resolution for 16 Thomas Street, Anderson. Christina?
I have to excuse myself.
Do we need to state why again, Stephen, or no?
It's the same as the original.
I don't know if we have to state.
And also I'm a neighbor.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, technically speaking, you would want to do that, but you already put it on the record the previous time, so it could stand.
Application by Diane Anderson for variance at 16 Thomas Street, Shelter Island, New York. Basis of the application, request for variance from Town Code Section 133-10B5A as reflected in the building inspector's denial letter issued by Inspector Brett Polshak based on an application for a permit to maintain a one-story 24 by 36 feet storage building as shown on the submitted survey. The applicant is requesting one area variance in connection with the existing storage building. The subject building was built with the benefit of a building permit, but in a slightly non-conforming location, whereby it's holding 27.7 feet to 28.7 feet from your setback on the north side of the building, where 30 is required. The Zoning Board of Appeals held public hearing on this application on December 13, 2023, and made the following findings. Grant of the variance will not produce undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood. The benefit sought by the applicant may not be achieved by other methods. The variance requested is mathematically insubstantial. Granting the requested variance will not have an adverse impact on the environment. The resolution of the board is to approve the request for one area variance for front yard setback relief of 1.5 feet and 2.5 feet respectively.
Thank you, Christina. Can I get a motion for the resolution?
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution.
Lynn? And Tom seconds. Okay, so we will now vote. Tom Scraffinino,
Yes. Aye.
Lynn Colligan.
Yes.
Lisa Kreckler says yes. Okay, 3-0. Okay. Next order of business, we have an application for 8 East Brander Parkway. Christina, Christina's gonna read the notice again.
Hearing on the application of Maxine Leary on behalf of Nashar Darkenbell, owner of the 8 East Brander Parkway, Shelter Island, New York, a corner lot, which is Zone A residential nearshore overlay district and is more specifically described on the Suffolk County tax map as 700-22-1-141. The applicant is seeking area variances from Shelter Island Town Code, Section 133-6B5A, to hold a 33 front yard setback off of the beach road for a proposed landing with steps where 40 feet is required, and to hold 29.3 feet from the yard setback off of the East Brander Parkway for a proposed landing with steps where 40 is required, and additionally to hold 28.1 feet from the yard setback off of the East Brander Parkway for a proposed deck where 40 is required. There was a correspondence received, a letter of opposition from Bernard Mollahan and Eileen O'Brien, 6 East Brander Parkway, an opposition from Robert Betke, 5 North Brander Parkway.
Thank you, Christina. And who is presenting?
My name is Gregory Nissen. I'm a friend of Shelley Darcampbell. And we're going to just turn this over to the architect. We drastically reduced the size of the deck from the original proposal.
Sir, just for the record, you're a friend and agent or?
Simply friend.
Okay. But she authorized you to speak on her behalf, just for
Yes.
the record? Okay.
I wish it was on agent. She's in the hospital. So the original deck has just been drastically reduced. You all have this drawing,
Yes.
and I'll let Maxine, the architect, go through it, and then I'll be here if there's a.
So, my name is Maxine Liao, and I'm the architect for the property, 80 Sprander and Michelle Darkenbaugh. The current proposal before the board has been amended in response to comments made by the neighbors and also the ZBA members at the previous hearing, June 28th, 2023. And as Greg said, we made a substantial reduction in the variance requested. I have a handout. This is the same as the site plan that the board has, but I have a handout if anyone in the audience wants to see it. Anyone? Site plan? Okay, and then I also have a drawing showing how we envision the deck we're asking for will look, which the board also has, if anyone wants to see it. Oh, yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Okay, do you want the site plan?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, there you go. Okay, of the total area of all the proposed deck and steps, 61% of it includes an existing deck to be rebuilt and a new deck for which no variance is needed. And that now totals 304 square feet. The area for the proposed deck and steps that need a variance has been reduced by more than half the size of the previous proposal. And it's 1/3 of the area of what was the original proposal. So the reduced variance request is only for 184 square feet. And that is 38% of the total deck proposed, which that total includes the deck that needs no variance. And then also there's the existing basement entry, which we're applying to rebuild for 32 square feet. Now, I also want to point out that although the house has an existing screen porch on one side, the proposed deck will serve a different function because it'll provide an open air place for sitting outside. And that has a different feeling than being in an enclosed screen porch. It'll have a greater connection to the sun and the wind. And unlike today where it's rainy and we hope it'll be beautiful a lot of the time, and you can see the sky and the stars at night. As we noted previously, the hardship in this situation is that the current zoning setbacks were put in place long after the 1920s when the house was built. The house, when it was built, it was located on the property so that it would have a large sunny open yard with a water view and to be used for recreation. And that's where the deck and steps are now proposed. The proposed deck and steps are sited in a way that will not interfere with any of the other neighbors' use of the water. It will replace an old deck and steps and basement entry in need of being rebuilt. And it's in the traditional style. It's going to be in the traditional style of the local houses. And it's all intended to enhance the look of the house. We appreciate your continued consideration of this variance request. And if you have any questions or comments, I'll be happy to address them.
Thank you.
Anyone on board have any questions at this time for the applicant?
I don't think so.
I just want a clarification on this diagram. This is the east elevation?
That's a drawing that I made.
No, it's the east elevation of the house, correct? Or East Brander Parkway?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes, it is.
It's the East Brander side of the house.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, the north piece is up, yeah. Anything else? Thank you very much.
Is there anybody else in the audience that would like to speak about this application? Is there anybody in Zoom that would like to speak? We're good, Christina? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you so much.
Thank you for your consideration.
So I'm going to make a motion to close this hearing except for written correspondence until February 14th, that's the week before. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right.
In favor?
Aye.
Aye. Did I forget something, Stephen?
Now let's do a roll call.
You want to do roll call?
Okay.
William Johnson, to close the meeting,
No.
the hearing,
Hearing.
I mean, the hearing, yes.
Close the hearing, keep it open.
You're missing correspondence,
Valentine's Day.
okay.
Tom Rapidino, yes.
Lynn Colligan, yes.
Lisa Cracker, yes. Our next order of business is 14 Leslie Avenue, Chapman River. Christina, can you read the notice, please?
A hearing on the application of Andrew Chapman and Lisa F. Pfeiffer on 14 Leslie Avenue, Shelter Island, New York, a corner lot, which is Zone A, near shore overlay district, and more specifically described on the Suffolk County Tax Map as 700-5-2-10.1. The applicant is seeking an area variance from Shelter Island South Code, Section 133-6B5A, to hold 14 feet 2 inches front yard setback off of the Leslie Avenue for proposed patio where 40 is required. The letter of support he submitted from Heights. They are supportive as long as the designated drainage is sufficient to retain stormwater runoff on the property. Additional support was submitted from Catherine O'Hagan, 11 Spring Garden, and from Philip Beaver, 16 Leslie.
Thank you. Who's presenting?
The applicant,
All right, state your name for the record, please.
Andrew Chapman. We have a presentation. Just similar to what you have.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me tonight. My wife Lisa and I have owned our house at 14 Wesley for 28 years. We've been seasonal residents until about 3 years ago when we winterized the house, and now we're part-time residents. I'll just say that I find the latter status much more engaging. I'm on the town water advisory committee, and I'm also the carpenter's assistant for the senior citizen residential repair program. So I've enjoyed getting more involved in the town. Over the last several years, we have winterized the house. That has been a very slow and careful process. It originally had no heat, it's purely seasonal. We've insulated the attic, we dug a basement underneath the house, we put in an HVAC system. And my COVID project was to make 30 storm windows in my shop. And that was interesting because none of those windows are the same size and none of them are square. But we have, we're very proud that we have maintained the historic character of the house. So if you go to the second page of this presentation, you'll see what the house looks like from Waverly. I have reviewed the improvements we've made. And then if you go to the next page, you'll see what the side yard looks like. The side yard's got an interesting history. Until about 2 years ago, it was a separate lot. And in the 1920s, there was a two-story building on that side yard. We merged the lots to one. We own both lots. We merged the lots into one so we could put a patio in the back. And this is where we're going to put the patio. So if you look at the, if you look at the picture, you'll see a lattice fence. Kind of in the middle of the picture, that's an outdoor shower. The patio is going to be to the left of that, coming out into the yard behind the sign. The patio will be 14 feet by 18 feet. It will be porous in that it'll be like 1 by 1 or 1.5 by 1.5 slates with grass in between, 2 inches of grass in between. And the slope between, the difference in elevation between the patio and the grade at the highest point will be reconciled through a planted embankment. There will not be any retaining walls. And you'll also see on the plan that there will be walkways, and they will also be porous. So we're not making this out of concrete. We're going to set those slates on sand and then put grass in between. If you go to the next page, you'll see the survey. And if you look in the red, you can see our permitted building envelope. Now, we're on a corner, so we have 40-foot setbacks from both Waverly and Wesley. And then 12.5-foot setbacks from the side yard, that's the Weavers, and the other side yard, which is Catherine O'Hagan to the east. And you can see the permitted building envelope there is quite small. Why is it small? Because my understanding is the zoning rules came in long after the house was built. And so if we were to build a patio in the permitted area, we'd be like 12 feet away from Mrs. O'Hagan's house, because Mrs. O'Hagan's house is only 3 feet off the property line. So what we've decided or are proposing and requesting approval for here is to move the patio entirely into the 40-foot setback from Wesley. And you can see the patio in gray on the survey. And then you can also see, the walkways. So I understand one of your criteria is, like, how did you get yourself into this situation? And I would say that we are this is the result of history. The house was built a long time ago, and then the town in its judgment came along and put the zoning rules in place. And that's where we find ourselves. But we believe putting the patio where it's proposed will give more privacy and buffer to Catherine O'Hagan's house to the east. It will also put the patio closer to our back porch door so we can get on it. It'll also give us some more space to use so that it'll be more functional for us. So that's what's driving our request tonight. If you go to the next page, you'll see Jeff Feingold's plans. And this shows the same building envelope issue. It shows the patio. It shows the walkways, which will come from Wesley, and then also around the back of the house to the entrance to the basement over on the east side of the house. And there will also be a similar walkway, another walkway up to our porch on Wesley, and there will be a walkway out to Waverly from the front door.
Are the proposed stone pathways of the same material that you've outlined here?
Yes. Yeah, so they're gonna be slates, and there's gonna be grass around them. You can also see that the buffer along the street there, the area along the street's actually owned by the Property Owners Corporation. So we will need to enter into a licensing agreement with the Property Owners Corporation as part of this process. And the letter from the Property Owners Corporation says we have to do that before we start, and
That's just for the walkway section, correct?
that's for the walkways.
Okay.
Yes, that's for the walkways. And as part of that licensing agreement, we need to indemnify the Property Owners Corporation for the use of that land.
But the walkways aren't the subject of this application, correct?
Yeah, right.
They're not.
Okay, so I'm just trying to be transparent.
No, that's, I just want to make
Make
it
sure that
it's clear in the record. We have nothing to do with the walkways.
All right. Additionally, there's the issue of drainage. Right now, and you can see this on Jeff Feingold's drawing, the land slopes from the highest point is in the lower left of the drawing of Jeff's plan, and it slopes to the upper right. And so right now, when it rains, water basically goes down towards the house, runs around the house, and then kind of goes down into Mrs. O'Hagan's yard because it's going that way. So our plan is to put the patio in. The patio will have a slight slope to the east. Put perimeter drains on the north side, the east side, and the south side of the patio. Perimeter drains, and then run the water around the house to the eastern border, eastern property line, where there's a row of hydrangeas that are between us and Mrs. O'Hagan's house. And so the idea is dig a sand-filled trench along there that runs all the way out to the locust tree in the upper right-hand part of the drawing, which is the tree there that says 24 inches. That's a locust tree. So we'd run and we would put a perforated pipe in that trench. And so the idea is that whatever water falls on the patio that is not absorbed by the patio itself, because remember, it's not going to be a single piece of concrete, it's going to be slates with grass in between. Whatever water that runs off the patio itself will go into those perimeter drains and then be routed around to the eastern side of the house and irrigate those hydrangeas. So you're probably asking, well, why don't you put in a ring and all this sort of thing? And I studied forestry when I was younger, and I'm concerned about the root zones of the trees in this area. There are lots of big trees. They have very extensive canopies. Root zones tend to be kind of the same as the canopies. And so I'm concerned about digging a machine and pulling those roots, because once you pull a root, even if you end up cutting it, you end up destroying the ability of that root to transfer water to the tree. And I've had difficulties with that in another house in our prior residence in New Jersey. So I think a less disruptive thing to do is to dig a trench that's a foot or two deep that runs along the eastern property line, fill it with sand, put a perforated pipe in, so the water that comes whatever water comes off the patio will go into that trench. I worked some math out. That's a 250 square foot patio. Get a 4-inch rainstorm. Basically, figure 25% of it's absorbed by the patio itself because you got a lot of grass. That's 60 cubic feet of water. It's about 50 feet from the corner of the house out to the locust tree. So make that trench, a foot and a half deep or something like that. You got 60 cubic feet of porous soil to take that water. You would want to daylight that pipe out at the end, but I don't think, you get a 4-inch rainstorm. That's a lot of rain. I don't think you're going to have much out there. So that, I believe, answers the property owners corporation's concerns about keeping water on the property. And being a member of the Water Advisory Committee, I am just fine with that policy. So look, a lot of work's gone into this house. We're very proud of it. We've done it slowly and we've done it carefully over a number of years. Some of the work I've done myself. I do carpentry work. I got a shop in the basement. We have preserved the historic character of the house, and we have ensured its continued kind of fit with the neighborhood. Our standard is when we get done with the job, we want people to look at it and go, hasn't it always been this way? So that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to build this patio and then landscape around it. And when it's all done, people are going to go, haven't you always had a patio, have you? So that's our objective. So I just I haven't really gotten up in front of the town board and talked about what we've done to this house before. So I appreciate your patience with me doing that. And I'm happy to answer any of your questions.
Does anyone
Thank you.
on the board have any questions?
Just with your proposal, as far as the rain goes, have you had any issues with it? We've had some heavy rain the past couple of months with the existing drain pipes that are going down to that side of the yard where you plan on putting the trench.
No.
Have you had any flooding issues or?
So there are a couple of downspouts that come off the gutters that are on the eastern side of the house. And some water pools have been in there from those downspouts. I would connect to those downspouts
Only help
to this system.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I think this is gonna end up actually, it's not a big problem, but whatever problem it is, I think it'll deal with it. But no, and you know, knock on wood, we haven't had water in the basement either.
Anyone else on the board? Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to come and speak on this application?
Good evening. Lori Beard Raymond. I'm here representing the Shelter Island Heights Property Owners Corporation. And I really don't have a whole lot to say tonight. Andrew covered most of it. Heights wrote a letter of support. As of today, we've received no neighbor objections to this application. And Andrew and the Heights have discussed the licensing agreement for the walkways on the portions that are on the Heights property. And that the stormwater drainage has been properly designed and is sufficient for to prevent any runoff onto adjacent properties. And if there is runoff, then we just expect that problem to be corrected. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to come and speak about this application? Anyone in Zoom?
Just, Andrew, if you could come up for 1 second. Can you just talk about the reason for the size of the patio? Like why, because again, one of the factors they look into is alternatives, and is there a reason why you want it that size?
So I said, how big a patio do I need to have a table with 4 chairs around it and then 2 chaise lounges? So originally, I think I was about, I think I was at, 17 by 20 or something like that. And I staked it out. And I said, this is too big. So the answer is that 14 by 18 is what you need for that functional plan,
For the traditional use of a patio?
for the traditional use of a patio.
All right.
There's not much more to it than
Yeah,
that.
no, that makes sense.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
There's no one else wants to come forward. Can I get a motion to close this hearing except for written correspondence until February 14th?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay, we'll do roll call. William Johnston,
Yes.
Tom Graffino,
Tom Graffino, yes.
Lynn Colligan.
Yes.
Lisa Kreckler, yes. Is there any other business?
We need to close the hearing. Do you want us to close the hearing?
We did close the.
We just closed the hearing.
Oh, yeah, okay, done.
Yeah, right.
Sorry.
Close the meeting.
Close the meeting, sorry, close the meeting.
Can I get a motion to close the meeting?
I'll make a motion to close the meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, meeting closed at 7:59. Thank you, everyone.